Hello and welcome to the 1 year anniversary edition of the Be About It podcast. Yes, it has finally happened. It is wonderful. We have made it 1 year and counting. I know y'all were excited about that as I am. But we have had 1 year of great shows. Well, I say 1 year of great shows, but we have 1 year of shows. Let's face it, that first year was a rough start, or that first few months was rough. I was gathering my ground. I was getting my feet underneath me, but I got it. And I'm a big on tradition. So, for the 1 year anniversary of this show, I'm going back to the beginning. The very first show that I ever did was a Father's Day recap. Now, there was a story behind why it was a Father's Day recap. I got all my equipment and everything on my birthday, which is in April. But I was I ain't gonna lie, I was scared. I was nervous. It kind of got to me. I was about to do something I had never done before that I didn't know how to do. There are people out there doing a way better job than me. But I was excited. So finally, I picked a date, and I felt right after Father's Day, talking about Father's Day, my Father's Day, and how it became was a good story. I thought it was a great way to start. I enjoyed doing that, and that's why I picked that date. But I also practiced my ass off for those first few months. 2 months into this, I am practicing every single day, learning how to use different equipment, learning how to adjust the sound, the volume, how to record, how to edit, and everything that goes into this. So when I say it was tough, it really was. But I have learned a lot since that first episode. Here's a little clip from that very first episode right now. All right, welcome to the first podcast of the Be About It podcast. As I gave in a little spoiler yesterday, that we are going to be discussing a couple different topics for the day. First one being the story of the week with the sub, and then we're going to talk a little bit about last Sunday, the Father's Day. I was like, go through that, and I'll end with even giving you a little teaser about next week's show. All right, but first and foremost, as I always want to say, thank you very much for tuning in on this very first one. And hopefully you'll be tuning in on the next one, and so forth and so forth. As you can see, I have come a long way. I have made it 2 steps up on a 100-step staircase. But I really took that initiative and did it. I was given the equipment and some stuff, which I've added a few things since then to make it a little bit better. Added sound effects, noise, some music, all these great things. So, in fairness of tradition, let me tell you about the day that I became a father and why this holiday became even better for me. On April 15th, my little girl was born. I was nervous as hell. I remember that whole day and how it came to be. I went to work that morning like nothing. Me and her mother were talking, texting throughout the day, seeing how she was, how things were going. I just had no clue that was the day. I just thought she was in some pain. I knew we were getting close, but I didn't know that was the day. But around 1:ish, it got really real. So I'm like, and we get I get the message. It is time. So I am calling my boss, locking everything up in the safe. Don't count anything, and I am off to the races. I leave work. That we were closed at that point. Not my fault. They knew what I had coming. It took priority. So I am driving my ass all the way home, real quick. Get her. I grab everything that I think we need, and I throw it in the car. I'll come back if we need more. So I'm getting there. I ain't gonna lie. By the time we get that, there was some traffic on the way to the hospital, and I was pissed off at these assholes. Get out of the way. I thought my daughter was going to be born in the car on the way to the hospital as fast as it was happening. And we finally make it. We get her in there, and we get her a room, get all this stuff. And I am the doctors and the nurses, which, by the way, let me tell you this right now. Nurses, y'all are the freaking heroes of that hospital. I saw y'all, worked with y'all. Y'all made that as easy as possible for us because y'all were constantly helping us out. To everybody in the nursing industry, y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Y'all are the most important people in the hospital. Never let anybody tell you anything different. But now that we're there, the nurses and everything, they run the test, definitely it is happening. It is on the way. So I am calling people, hey, oh, look, baby girl's on her way. 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 All right, we have done it. And her whole dilation has gotten even bigger. I mean, she was on her way. It was like an 8 out of 10. And this was only like a few hours into it. We figured, okay, this is going to be a quick one. Then her mother had an epidural. And it slowed things down. Got my baby high on the first day. And she was slowed it down. Did not want to turn at that point. I was just like, oh, okay, that's bad. Now, the weirdest thing in this is, my mother got there first. And she jumped in the hospital room with us, and she did not leave. It was like her first grandbaby. She was on it. And my daughter was not disappointing. And we're coming along. She slowed down. They had to have her mother flip up into the doggy position. There is not a pretty way to say that explanation. That is what it had. It was either all fours, doggy, whatever you want to say. That's how it happened. So, it is what it is. Sorry, it happened. That's how she got it. They were trying to get her to rotate just a little bit. My daughter was lazy, did not want to do what she wanted to do. Nothing has changed. Still that way. Still sleeps late. Still stays up late. She's a night owl. Can't say anything. She is that she gets it honestly. That's like 4 generations of night owls that she got that from. But I was like, so finally get all that, and then she finally gets to the 10, and it is time to get this beautiful creature out. And I remember the last little bit of it, and pushing, seeing the head come out, and I'm like, oh, Gil, like every other guy, like, damn, what am I going to do with that now? There ain't nothing to be done. I'm just going to kind of stare into the abyss. I can't do anything anymore. I'm useless. Done. So, but seeing the head, seeing my daughter being born, yes, I did cut the umbilical cord. She was born at 11:47 on April 15th, which I remind her of it every single year. One of the big things about April 15th, my grandmother was very happy to announce that was her father's birthday. So in true drama fashion, which my daughter is full of drama, 90% of the time, 10% chill, she has always made an entrance. And she decided to wait till the last 15 minutes of the day to make that entrance. And I'm glad she did. Because seeing her, cutting the umbilical cord, holding her for the first time, I knew there was not a single thing I would not do for that child. I could not help. Wait. I couldn't wait to get her home. I couldn't wait to do this. Now, that first couple of days was kind of rocky. Now, nothing has changed in this aspect of this because I had to push her around constantly because she would not, if she was still, she was unhappy. And that is still the truth today, except for when she's sleeping or playing video games or talking on her phone or texting her friends, all the things that don't involve me. But I would have to push her around, talk to her all around the hospital, which can testify to 100%. Do not cross those lines with a baby in the hospital. I had the biggest security guards on my ass after I crossed that line, just a hair. And they were all over me like, who's this? Who are you? Whose baby is this? Man, they were about to take me down. I don't know how many of them that was going to take to whoop my ass, but I knew exactly how many they were going to use. So I decided I'm just going to do what they say and let the armbands and everything kind of speak for itself. So But we got through all that and got her home. I drove like an old lady taking her home. Was so nervous the first time that I was getting her there. And when we got her home and got her in bed, got her rested, things like that. I mean, I finally understood what it was to be a father, to take care of someone and love something unconditionally. So Father's Day did not from that day on was not about taking care of my father or showing or saying Happy Father's Day or buying him a little cheap gift. It was an understanding among fathers. This is why we do it. So speaking of fathers, I have said about my whole little experience. Let me see if I can't get another father on the line. Let's see if I can't give a call. Hold on 1 second. But before we get to that, let me tell you about how my Father's Day went this year. I had a very peaceful, very nice, awesome Father's Day. Had my 2 adopted grandkids, my daughter's nephews, that tend to stay over my house a little bit. It's okay, the good boys. I was like, I'll keep them. But they stayed over, so they stayed up late, of course, as kids would do. Woke up to my daughter bringing me a cup of coffee. Now, this is something, now I told you my daughter likes to sleep late. But she stayed up all night so she could bring me a cup of coffee in bed. And I was in shock and awe till I found out she stayed up all night and didn't wake up early. Still sweet. But then come out and I had Texas-shaped waffles for breakfast. Yes, the great state of Texas waffles. Be jealous. But so we had that. Then we sit around and we just have a nothing relaxing day, talking, joking around, playing games. Nothing big. I mean, kind of watched a couple movies. That was it. It's exactly what I wanted, just kind of relaxation day. Then for dinner, I made breakfast for dinner. And I cannot stress it enough. Check your sausage before you buy it from the store, because I go to put mine on a day after I bought it and it has mold on it. I should have checked it more thoroughly. That's on me, but damn self-checkout lines. But it was still a good day. I enjoyed it thoroughly. We ate dinner. We had a good time. Daughter woke up for it, and of course she had her 3-hour nap in there, so she naturally stayed up all night again. But it was a good day. It was exactly what I wanted. It was relaxing. It was peaceful. I couldn't have asked for a better Father's Day, and I hope everybody out there had just as good a Father's Day as me. Now, speaking of Father's Day, as I said earlier, let's see if we can't get one father online or on the show here real quick just to talk about theirs. I'll get a second perspective on it. I was like, I've been telling everybody I'm going to have people on. I finally did it. Well, maybe. We'll see. Hold on 1 second. Let's make this call. All right, let's reach out and see if I can't get somebody on the phone here.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going, Dad?
Oh, I'm tired. It's been a long day.
I don't know how you're tired. I mean, you're living the life. You go to work at your hobby, and you just come home to everybody just catering to your every need.
I don't know about catering.
Yeah, I'm sure they have your slippers ready, your meal just laid out there in front of you. Somebody's holding a glass of tea whenever you walk in, I'm sure.
Some other,
Some what?
some other universe, a multiverse. Yeah, that's better than this one.
Well, if the technology's ever there and reaching out, I was like, just let me know which one it is too, because I would have loved to experience that at least once myself. But I figured I'd call you. I was actually doing my podcast on Father's Day recap. And, I told the story of the day that Jules was born from my point of view, but I never talked to anybody about what y'all did out there in the waiting room waiting on me. Hold up, you're breaking up a little bit.
No, no. I remember not. I don't remember knowing if it was a boy or a girl. That was something. But I there's a picture that was taken um, with all of us around Jules.
Oh yeah, it was definitely the girl. But yeah, I remember it being out there. I remember everybody about to leave, and then all of a sudden it was about to happen, and the only one that left was Josh, and everybody else kind of was like going slowly. It was,
Yeah,
but Josh was the only one that speeded out of the room real quick, and but so he was the only one there not to meet her the first day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was in a hurry to get out. I remember. I don't know. I don't remember why. But I do remember he was in a hurry to leave.
Yeah,
Um, but
he was the fastest one. He was the only. Everybody else was there for got to take pictures. He was the only one not there. He showed up like a day or two later after we made it home. But we would always remind him that he was the only one not there whenever Jules was born.
yeah, but I do remember the wait. But so I don't know. You took a while to get here. I mean,
Well, good things take time.
yeah. I mean, it followed suit that yours would take well. Um, so, but you're right though. Uh, life or
I was telling everybody on here that the biggest thing that I remember about Jules being born was the panic I felt because I got the call while I was at work and just trying to get there. I don't remember the drive home. I don't remember half the drive to the actual hospital, except how annoyed I was at everybody stopping and slowing down. But I mean, it was just once I got there, everything kind of clicked and settled in.
I think that might be a general description of most fathers who experience natural childbirth. Uh,
Well, what was
because you're you're waiting. Know the day is coming and it gets closer and closer, but there's no mark on the calendar that says, "Okay, this is the day it's going to happen." So get ready. And like you said, I I remember the day I was born at the hospital very vividly because I remember your grandfather, your mom's dad, saying, "Look at that big head, that apple head."
and that followed me everywhere.
And I was, I guess maybe I was for Jules. I was anticipating a little girl with a big apple head, but she didn't. She was perfect.
Yeah, she was symmetrical. She was big, but she was symmetrical.
Yeah, yeah,
Like she was even all the way down, but she didn't have that big head that I had in all the pictures I was whenever I was a baby.
yeah, yeah. Your grandfather Frankie always said that one apple head. He would always kid me about that.
But that head is what we can actually attest to how we know that these kids are ours because we feel the
Yeah,
head and we feel the same knobs. You're like, yes, that's
yeah.
what Papa had. That's what Dad has. I have it. Jules has it. Okay, definitely mine. Don't need a paternity test at all.
Nah, nah. There's no disguising it. It's genetic, definite.
Yeah, that is better than any DNA test out there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what did you do for your Father's Day? I sent you the text later on because I was celebrating mine and I had a lazy day and I took a nap late and woke up late and they just kind of treated me pretty nice on Father's Day and let me sit back and watch some movies.
Uh, I think I worked that day, cold that night. Um, I man, I got texts from everybody saying Happy Father's Day.
Well,
I,
your three kids are I was like busy out and doing things.
uh, yeah, the older you get, the less exciting the day seems to be for those who you fathered. But I, the thing on Father's Day for fathers, it's it's a day of reflection. You don't have to really hear from your kids. You just reflect on the joy that they brought you over the years, and that in itself is a gift. You know, any father that is expecting a huge payday of some sort on Father's Day, or have really lost the true meaning of the day. It's not a day of expect gift. The children are the gift from themselves. And I'm blessed to have wonderful, wonderful, and so I that's to me the day I spent, even when I was working with the I spent in reflection of that I've enjoyed over 40 being a father.
Yeah. I was mentioning that a little bit ago whenever I was recapping that first day, and I said something similar. That it's whenever you see your child for the first time, you are automatically inducted into a club, and nobody that's not in this club will ever understand what the actual meaning of Father's Day is. And
Yeah,
it's looking at someone that you would give anything for, that you would give your life and a heartbeat for, that you would do anything you could within power. And I think
I,
to me, that's what Father's Day reminded me of once Jules was born, was understanding what that meant actually.
yeah, because you're a protector, and from that the second that the child is born, that's your responsibility to protect that child and get them to a point in their life where they don't have to have you around, but they like that.
Yep. I was like, Jules is about to enter teenagehood, so I don't know if I'm going to be on her like to have around. I might be the embarrassment for the minute. At least another 2 years. I was like, because she's starting middle school this year.
Yeah, and that's the most trying uh, years of a child being a parent in general, not just a father, but a father and a mother, because they're without reason, children going through that middle school era of their lives, they're going to experience some sort of conflict, whether it be bullying or to graduate from being a child to being a young adult. And it's and going through puberty. It's just all that
Uh, yeah.
for every child. But you know, good parents help you get through it.
Yeah. I think she's gonna like middle school. She's gonna start figuring out who she really is and who she wants to be. She's taking band, orchestra, and God knows what else she feels like taking. But she's
So
branching it
that
out.
grandfather a little proud because of part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, she was like she got pretty good on the viola. I was like, and I think now she picked the tuba to play as an instrument to play. Now, Dad, you're gonna like this. She picked the tuba so she can learn how to play the Star Wars theme. So I couldn't argue that fact. Being a Star Wars fan, I'm like, you know what? I see the logic in that.
I guess the Star Wars uh, genetic or something because I'm a big Star Wars nut too. Uh, but yeah, no, that's
Yeah, that was her whole thing about picking the tuba because I thought she would pick like the trumpet. Was really enjoying the French horn when she was trying that out, but she actually went straight to the tuba, tried it for like 30 seconds, and she was like, "Oh, that's what I want." She's like, "That's it." I don't know if she thinks it's going to be easy until she has to lift that thing up and carry it, but I have a feeling that I'm going to hear a lot of Dad. Can you pick up the tuba and put it in the truck?
just so you gotta have a lot of hair. You
Yep.
know, playing.
Uh-oh. Hold up. You were breaking up pretty bad there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I had the phone against my chest. The tuba is, I mean, you have to have a lot of lung capacity. You have to build your lungs up to play it because it's the heaviest wind instrument there is. Next to the baritone sax. So it's one of they either love it or they hate it pretty quickly. So if she really likes the instrument, she'll play it forever.
Well, I think she's found a little bit of her favorite things to do is the music. That was really kind of her main thing of like she occasionally throws out I want to try out for sports and she might decide to do that down the road too. I mean, I really didn't come I played a lot of sports when I was young, but I didn't really
Yeah,
get extremely active until high school.
right.
So, but
Um,
but if I in retrospect, I think I would have done a lot better if I'd have stayed in band, focused
but
around music.
I honestly, I think some sort of musical, even if you're tone deaf, it doesn't matter. Learning the music is a language, and I think it's a language that everybody should be subjected to at some point during their scholastic career. Um, because it's very disciplined, and
Yep.
it teaches discipline.
Uh,
And
yeah, I remember playing the saxophone and all that, and it was some of the funnest times I had in middle school.
yeah, oh man, when I played the tenor sax in college, I loved it. That was the only thing that was disappointing was because I couldn't afford to buy my own, and when I left Navarro, they wouldn't let me take my saxophone with me, so I didn't have it to play after I got out of school.
I'm priced those. They're around 2,500 for a decent one, but you can get a really cheap one on Amazon for about 400.
Yeah, but I get my taste is a little richer, I guess. The one I wanted was $6,000.
Yep.
And there's
You,
just no way I was going to be able to get that.
I think that runs in the blood because Mamaw too. She always had an eye for the not the overpriced stuff, but the ones that were priced perfectly, and you got exactly what you needed.
Yeah, yeah. Mama was like that. Mama, she also got bored real fast with stuff and would
Uh,
always looking for that next thing to buy.
who are you telling? I'm the one that moved all the furniture.
Yeah,
I, was, like, yeah,
yeah, you did. You got stuck with it.
I got a call every time Papa would call me. I'd be like, "Okay, what needs to be moved now?" And he'd just be like, "Oh yeah, it took couches again." So
Yeah,
I'd be like, "All right, I'll be over there tomorrow after work. We'll move the couches." But it
Mama was.
worked out well for me because they'd always cook up a good meal whenever I come
Oh
down.
yeah, oh yeah. That's one thing Mama could do is cook.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Well, Papa got pretty
yeah,
good there at the end too.
yeah, yeah. But he learned from her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Dad could. Dad, in some areas, was actually a better cook than Mom
Mm.
because he was. Dad, was so smart. I think that's one of the things that most people didn't realize about my father and your grandfather was just how intelligent of a man he was,
Mm-hmm.
and he approached everything in an academic manner, and cooking was nothing different.
Yep.
Um,
Mama
but
liked to put too much salt in a lot of her stuff.
yeah, yeah, and you know, I get that from her. I like salt on everything. I mean, I like my candies. Always you put salt on salt if if you had
Uh,
to.
Add salt and garlic salt. Just make
Yeah,
sure you get the extra salt.
got to be seasoned.
Mm. I'm like, well, Dad, I appreciate you coming on. I was like trying to get on. I was hoping you were available for the podcast to go through your Father's Day as well, since this is the 1 year anniversary of me doing podcast.
Well, my goodness.
It's already been a year.
Yeah, That went by quick, didn't it?
It did, and I'm still trying to figure out new things to talk about, but luckily I come up with them each time. And, I got an idea. I'll probably be calling Cody here soon because, with the elections coming up, I'm I got my point of view, but he'll have his, being young and stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But we were all young and stupid politically at one time.
I don't know. I knew everything at 18.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We all did.
I was like, the rest of the stuff, I just kind of figured it out and just made it better, but I knew it all. So I figured I'd get Cody on there because, that's one thing I've kind of been looking into is all the controversy with it. I hear all these bad things, but not a single politician out there telling me what are they going to do for this country. But everyone
Yeah.
wants to talk bad.
Oh yeah, we're going to hell in a handbag according to But you look at the two candidates we have. We have one that's a convicted criminal, and the other one's early stages of dementia.
Hmm.
Our choices for our nation leader, the leader of the free world, is just not very well of a basket to pick from.
Yeah, it's kind of lesser of two evils.
Yeah, it's exactly it. I mean, that's the best phrase to use. Which is the lesser of two evils? And you look at to me, the better businessman, the better corporate person is Donald Trump, but he's already proven that you just don't know what he's going to do next.
Well, if he would just stay offline and not talk to
if he just shut up,
he would be fine. Nobody would care what he does. He does not a bad job when he's up there. People don't have a problem with how he ran things. They have a problem with his personality and his being and doing. But if he would just shut up and do a job, nobody would complain.
I don't know how he walks around with his foot in his mouth all the time.
He probably has a prosthetic leg down there just so it would make sure it makes sense and fits.
Yeah.
But all right, Dad, I know you've worked all day and you need a little rest, so I'll let you get to it. But I appreciate you coming on and sharing my little Father's Day recap with me.
No problem. I love you.
Love you too, Dad. Bye. Well, that was it. My Father's Day recap. Even got my dad on here to share a little bit with everybody. So I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, this is the 1 year anniversary. We got plenty to go for it. As I was saying, I'm about to get my brother so I can get that 20-year-old opinion because I'm not 20-year-old anymore. He's a little older than 20. But don't worry. I guarantee you he's still just as stupid. But it was a great show. I appreciate everybody again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much for following me all this year. And here's to looking a lot forward to the upcoming shows. Now I'm going to take a quick break. I know it's been a lot of fun already, but I got a little bit more because I've been doing a little show review. As you discussed, Star Wars runs in our family. So I'm going to talk a little Star Wars as well as a family coming back to the WWE. Stick around. Be right back. All right, and we are back. Thank you for indulging me in my little Father's Day fun. Had to celebrate the 1 year coming of age of this podcast. And it has been a journey. It has been fun. It has been great, and I loved every minute of it. So I will keep doing this, hopefully for years to come. And as we always do, now that I've had the focal point, the Father's Day recap, and by the way, if you have not visited the website, www.beaboutitpodcast.com, swing by, check it out, let me know what you think in the comments. Now, let's talk about some things that have happened this week. Now, we've had a few other things, but I kind of picked out my favorite things. First things first, I am a Star Wars fan. I'm not ashamed of that. I am proud that I have watched almost everything that Star Wars has to offer. I'm working my way through Clone Wars. But in my defense, I kind of left that off the table for so long. But I am working my way through it. Everything else, I am good. So we have a new Star Wars coming out of age. The Acolyte. Now, I have heard mixed feelings of this. A lot of people are upset. A lot of people are angry about this thing. And to all those people, I say very simply, open your eyes, open your minds and your hearts, and welcome a new story. Yes, it does not make whole stories make sense. It has nothing to do with the original trilogy. It doesn't have anything to do with the sequels, the prequels, anything. This is a story on its own. So enjoy it for what it is. It's still keeping a lot truthful to the new one. Now, the one thing that we haven't seen yet, spoilers, by the way, if you have not, step back, but spoilers if you have not watched it. I am up to date, so I am going to talk about the first 4 episodes. Starts off, Carrie Moss. Now, for those of you that are not familiar, she is Trinity in Matrix. And that very first scene has a very Matrixy vibe to it. And I'm like, all right, I see where you're going with this. I dig it. All right. And it was not too bad. Now, I'm just saying, I mean, I'm not upset with the show at all. I was digging it from the opening scene. Now, yes, there are parts that make 0 sense. But you have to get through that. There's parts that make 0 sense in the original trilogy. But Carrie Ann Moss is open now. She had an unfortunate incident in that one, and I'll leave that to you to use your imagination until you watch it. But she starts off with action, straight back. You find more about the story later on. She makes several appearances, a couple at least. So I don't know where we're going to go with that. Now it does bounce around between present and past. It is trying to get to a story, and there is like always, like all Star Wars, there is a hidden entity in charge of everything, and we're trying to find out who. I have my theory, which I will get to at the end. So, and basically it's saying what a lot of people are having trouble with this is that there was a group of witches that used the Force to create life. Oh my God, Anakin Skywalker was not the only one that happened to. Now, yes, that happened, and people were upset about it. But you know what? If you look into a storyline, I think this is going to tie into something that did happen in the prequels, that did influence the sequels and others. So I think we just need to sit back and wait on that and get over the fact that, yes, Anakin wasn't the only one. He was just the most famous. And there's been a lot of negative to say over the witches, the story, people comparing it to the originals. Disney has already said they're getting away from the original Star Wars. That saga has wrapped up. The Star Wars Skywalker saga has wrapped up. So we're going to get into something else now. We're going to do something new. And this is one thing where they've kind of branched off to. Now, I'm kind of digging it, so I'm not going to speak bad about them. And then we get some past. Now, it wasn't just one child. There was 2 children. And one going into the Jedi, one trying to be trained by a darker entity, which, yes, we have not found that out yet. So I do think that there is some original storyline ties into it. Now, a lot of people haven't put 2 and 2 together. This may have been 100 years in the past, but Yoda was still there. And I have a feeling we will see Yoda at some point in this, because Yoda was only around 600 at the time. I mean, so he was still young, in a sense. So I think we'll see Yoda eventually in there. He's really one of the only 2 or 3 Jedis that really has the length and longevity of life to hang in there. But I think they are going to keep something with that. I'm waiting on the excitement to see that one. So, but the first 4 episodes, in my opinion, has a very strong beginning. They're going back and forth, past to present, and they're kind of keeping everybody in the loop. So I'm not upset at them. I'm kind of like, wow. Like the 4th one ended on a cliffhanger, and I'm like, you sons of bitches. But I'm kind of digging it. I'm really interested in the show. I'm kind of waiting for it. I want to see what happens next. But I think we might get a few of the questions that we've all had answered. Like, will it lead to how Anakin was created? Or is this Darth Plagueis origin? Or is this just a great story? I mean, who knows? We know they were used the Force. We know that the Jedi aren't the only ones because you wouldn't have the Sith. So let's kind of just sit back for a little bit. As Star Wars fans, I encourage you, keep an open mind, keep an open heart, and let this be just a story that we all get to sit back and enjoy. Because I think we will. And we've already had a couple of the previous Jedi from a younger version of the Jedi from the Jedi Council in these prequels, but I think we're in for a big surprise at the end, and I think something big's going to happen, and I'm hoping it is what I think it is. I'm hoping that we are going to get the origin story of kind of Darth Maul, and that's going to set up like a Darth Maul series. Because, let's face it, I'm kind of intrigued by that. And I would love to sit back and watch a Darth Maul series. Because I think his little spot in Phantom Menace was not enough. I mean, we got no backstory. Now, we got a little bit in Clone Wars. But I want to see like a backstory. How he became who he is. How was he trained? How long ago? How was this brought about? Now, that's what I'm hoping for. Now, that is me. I don't know what y'all are out there doing. But that's what I'm kind of thinking. Now, since we're on TV, I have gotten back into my roots on the TV side, watching a lot of older series that I didn't have time for whenever they were on. One of those being Parks and Recreation. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this one, but I was not a fan of The Office. I know. How can I not be? It was the greatest. I know. Oh, you're horrible. Blah, 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 blah. I was not a fan of The Office. Now, the first couple episodes I was watching a Park and Recreation, it kind of gave me that Office vibe. So I was about to cancel this one out too. I watched like 5 episodes of The Office, could not get into it. Now I was watching a couple, kind of reminded me, but then it started getting entertaining, started getting funny. It wasn't just about the people working in the office, but it was about a lot of the community people. So I really, after watching that whole series, I think it was a great series. I love it. I could not speak. There was great, hilarious moments. I love the back and forth of pretty much all of the characters. None of them were identical. None of them were the same. They all brought something different, and it was just a great show. So if you haven't watched Park and Recreation, sit back, watch it, binge it, whatever you do. You got plenty of it. So as I did that, I started watching some old movies. Like, it has been a while since I've watched a Bronx Story or a Bronx Tale. So I decided I was going to sit back and watch that the other night. So I was watching this, and I could swear that kid's name was Q, not C. But they, maybe this was a doppel effect or whatever. But I was watching it, I could swear up and down. I've been thinking of this for decades. This was like, no, your name is Q. And I was like, type thing. But yeah, we know this was directed by Robert De Niro. Had a lot of different characters. Mob movie, I'm a fan. Can't deny it either. But it was a real, like stepping back and watching it as an adult or an older version of an adult at least. I really enjoyed a lot of the show. And I got back into it, started watching it, and I was hooked on it. I put the phone down and I was all about it for at least a good 2 hours and 2 minutes or so. Then I went on to the next thing. But, it was a good movie, and I'm glad I sat back and watched it because there was a lot of things in that movie that I had forgotten. So now speaking of, now we're on television, we're talking all this stuff. Now I have to get into some WWE talk. I would not be fair if I was not talking about some WWE, especially with the big thing that happened recently. We had the Wyatt family debut, finally. And it looks like they're doing it right. As every wrestling fan out there knows, the WWE creative team is now Triple H and whoever he's got with him. It is Triple H's vision from that point forward, since Vince stepped away or since he was pushed out. So I really am digging the storyline, long-term storyline. So Triple H is not about a quick story, bing, bang, boom, gone. We all know his storytelling ability, and this, I am so happy he convinced everybody to come back and do this. Now, we were just getting into Uncle Howdy whenever we lost Bray Wyatt. He was a talent. He brought that character to a level that was both hated and liked. You could not say enough great things about what he did with the character once he got that. And he ran with it in every fashion, every morphed ability, and every morphed version of it. He owned every bit of that character. And now they have brought people into it. This being Bo Dallas as Uncle Howdy. We know that's Bray Wyatt's brother. Nikki Cross, which I am actually one that's happy. I was tired of the Super Nikki. I was tired of the Alexa's best friend. Let's just work her in somewhere. This is where Nikki Cross is going to thrive. This is where she's going to own it. This is her ability. This is her backstory. This part was made for her. Eric Rowan, Wyatt family royalty coming home. I am happy they got him in there. Now, we also got newcomers, Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis, as the new Wyatt family. But having Eric Rowan in there, I know this was a powerful opening to it. But, and we of course, we saw Shorty G, with some blood from his head, going all that way. But you know what? We'll see how that pans out. A lot of people have died in WWE over the year. They blew Vince McMahon up, for Christ's sake. But this is something we can all get excited about. This is going to be the best storyline in the WWE for the foreseeable future. Because if you remember anything about Bray Wyatt, this was not something that he would come out and do something every week. He would put on a show, he would do a skit, he would do things like that, but wrestled only here and there. He wasn't about jumping people or getting people. At the beginning, it was about going, attacking a group, stepping back, not doing a wrestling match. I think they're going to bring a lot of that back into the fold. And that is what I'm excited about. And since we got the new characters, new people joining, this is going to be something great. And they have already paid tribute to Bray Wyatt, and I'm hoping that everybody's excited on the Wyatt family to keep this going and do it right, keep it right, and just grow with it, because this is going to be a great series, great storyline. And you could hear it in my voice. I'm excited about it. So, on that note, we got a lot of things happening with the WWE. And a lot of good storylines, so I can't get into all of them, so I just picked my favorite, which that one was the biggest one to me. But on that note, I've had my little fun. We've had the talk, the dad talk, we've had the Father's Day recap, we had it all. So now I'm going to say goodbye. And I'm going to wish everybody a happy and wonderful evening. I hope everybody had a wonderful Father's Day and got to do exactly what they wanted to do with who they wanted to do it with. But all good things must come to an end. So I will say, as I always do, to the people out there that listen to this podcast, that love it as much as me, thank you for the 1 year of great podcasting, and to the several more up ahead. Don't just talk about it, be about it.